In the headlines, INEC extends deadline for party primaries by 6 days as APC presidential convention to June 6. PDP holds presidential convention in Abuja Saturday as Hayatuddin quits race, cites monetization of process. President Buhari assures that his administration will ensure every child has access to education. 15 dead, 3 missing in southern China torrential rains. Hello and welcome to the news update. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thank you for joining. Now, we begin with politics. The Independent National Electoral Commission has extended the deadline for the political parties to conduct their primaries for the 2023 general elections. INEC's National Commissioner and Chairman of Information and Voter Education Committee, Festus Okoye, announced this in a statement on Friday in Abuja. The commission agreed to extend the deadline for the conduct of party primaries by 6 days. Earlier, leadership of the political parties under the auspices of the Inter-Party Advisory Council had appealed to the commission to reconsider its earlier position and alter the timetable.
That's the timetable, which we considered tight in respect of the fact that we are putting this electoral law 2022 to test for the first time, and the fact that anything you are doing for the first time, you may, make some mistakes.
It appears that the parties have now presented a modified request for what the chairman calls a little adjustment. We will now discuss further to understand the basis for requesting this little adjustment, and thereafter the commission will meet and a statement will be issued.
The All Progressives Congress has postponed its special convention for the presidential primary for the 2023 general elections from May 29 to June 6. National Publicity Secretary of the APC, Felix Moka, announced this in a statement hours after the Independent National Electoral Commission extended the deadline for parties to conduct their primaries. INEC announced the extension of the deadline for political parties to conduct their primaries by 6 days on Friday evening. The Commission had initially announced a deadline of June 3rd from the presidential primaries. The extension of the deadline covers the 6-day period between June 4th and 9th. In the same vein, the People's Democratic Party has frowned on INEC's decision to extend the deadline for party primaries by 6 days. PDP spokesperson Debo Olugunagba, who described INEC's decision as similar to changing the goalpost in the middle of the game, stressed that certainty of elections is the bedrock of democracy. Speaking at the velodrome of the Moshood Abiola Stadium, Abuja, where the PDP is scheduled to hold its special national convention on Saturday, Olugunagba warns of grave consequences for the country if the certainty of elections and the timelines become doubtful. Now, a People's Democratic Party presidential aspirant for the 2023 elections, Muhammad Hayatuddin, has pulled out of the race. The ex-banker made this known in a letter to the national chairman of the party, Senator Iyorchia Ayu. Hayatuddin's decision to quit the race is coming days after a former governor of Anambra State, Peter Obi, announced his decision to quit the presidential race and resign from the PDP. Hayatuddin was quoted as saying that he quit the race because it was, among other things, highly monetized. Staying with politics, Senator representing Kaduna Central, Senator Uba Sani, emerged winner of the state APC governorship primary election. Sani defeated 2 other contenders with wide margin. However, his challenger, Sani Shaban, rejects the results even before completion of the election.
According to the chairman of the APC governorship primary election in Kaduna State, Ananchuna Henry, 1,245 delegates out of 1,275 were accredited, with 1,196 valid votes and 39 invalid votes.
Distinguished Senator Obasani, 1,149. I, Barrister Anachna Henry, the chairman of the Primary Election Committee, hereby certified that distinguished Senator Obasani, having secured the highest number of votes cast in this Kaduna APC gubernatorial election held on the 26th May 2022 and concluded in the early hours of 27 May 2022, and having met the requirement as contained in the guidelines for this primary election, is hereby declared winner.
Obasani, who clinched the gubernatorial ticket of the APC, having defeated Sani Sha'aban and Bashir Abubakar, called on them to join hands with him for the success of the party ahead of the 2023 general election.
I therefore thank my co-contestants, Alhaji Mohamed Sani Sha'aban and Alhaji Bashir Abubakar, for their belief in the democratic process. I will reach out to these great politicians and strategists and extend my hand of fellowship to them. I will deeply appreciate it if they can work together with me to take Kaduna State to higher heights.
Meanwhile, one of the contenders, Sani Sha'aban, who polled 10 votes in the primary, has kicked against the election, describing it as a sham.
But what is happening today, the supposed day of the primary election, was a charade. I personally feel the pain. Let us not celebrate what was not there. There was no election whatsoever. Nothing but a shame and shambles in Kaduna State. I feel sad to say that such childish, unpleasant events are happening from the state I come from.
He alleged that illegitimate delegates were smuggled to participate in the primaries.
But alas, here we are today, undergoing a primary. Many of our members across the state, 23 local governments, adhere to the requirements that if they are interested in becoming delegates, they should pay 5,000 naira, obtain the forms, fill the forms, and return those forms. They did all that. Money was paid into the accounts being stipulated by the party at the national level. Please, what happened to those money?
Lami Sadiq, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
Now, crisis rocking the All Progressives Congress in Taraba State after the emergence of Senator Emmanuel Bwacha as state APC governorship candidate. Chairman of the APC governorship primary election in the state, Lawrence Onochukwu, said Bwacha defeated all the other 8 aspirants to emerge winner of the election. However, contestants in the election threatened to leave the party if the election was upheld by the party.
Lawrence Onochukwu, who had earlier on Thursday night at the headquarters of the Taraba Police Command declared that election could not hold in the state because members of the committee were held hostage and harassed with death threats. He, however, disclosed that all the issues surrounding the conduct of the primary elections were later resolved amicably among all stakeholders of the party.
There's some issues that didn't allow us to start the election as planned. And this evening I want to speak to you again that up to now these issues were not able to resolve among us. And as you can see, I'm not really in good state of mind. I'm an unhappy person because I came all the way from national headquarters to perform my duty to the best of my ability.
But 6 APC governorship aspirants threatened to quit the party if the national leadership of the party failed to address irregularities emanating from the primary election in the state. Spokesperson of the group, Senator Abubakar Yusuf, issued the threat on Friday while addressing newsmen in Jalingo in company of 5 other aspirants.
We want to inform you that due process of the law will be followed to make sure that we obey, we follow up the internal process of the party and also the legal way according to the Electoral Act of 2022.
The 6 aspirants, David Kente, Senator Yusuf, Danladi Kifasi, Anthony Manzo, Alhaji Saleh Mamman and Professor Sani Yahya, agreed that no election was held in the state, insisting that the election returning officer will declare a purported result at the airport. He said that all stakeholders had met at the headquarters of the police and agreed for the suspension of the said election for a more convenient time. Yusuf said the aspirants will adopt internal party mechanism and justice to get redress over the primary election infraction in the party.
Now, Borno State Governor Umar Zulum says he has shelved thoughts of being a running mate for presidential aspirants ahead of the 2023 general elections. He made the revelation at the governorship primaries held in Maiduguri, where he emerged as the unopposed candidate of the APC after polling 1,411 votes. Governor Zulum said he has been approached by presidential aspirants to become their vice president, saying he will rather seek for second term in office and continue to rebuild the state as much needs to be done, especially in the area of insecurity.
I can see the honor of presiding over meetings attended by governors and ministers and the privilege of having a presidential jet at one's disposal. I can see the honor of presidential receptions within and outside Nigeria. However, I've asked myself that should I get the opportunity to become the BP and raise my political profile, what happens to all our ongoing works for the people of Borno State? We are fellow citizens. We must always remember that Borno has suffered more than 12 years of mass killings, destructions and displacements as a result of Boko Haram and now Islamist insurgency. Borno has more problems than any of Nigeria's 36 states. Yes, we were able to settle a good number of our displaced citizens. We were able to achieve reasonable degree of peace in Borno State, but we have so much ahead of us. Only at the weekend, more than 30 youths were killed around Kalabaldi. This should remind us of the reality of our problems and the need to deliberately unite ourselves towards the recovery, stability and prosperity of our dear Borno State.
Now, the Supreme Court has dismissed the appeal filed by Minister of Transportation Rotimi Amechi seeking to stop his probe over an alleged 96 billion naira fraud in an elite judgment prepared by Justice Emmanuel Augie but read by Justice Adamu Jairo. The Apex Court dismissed the appeal of Amechi on grounds that the issue of not being given fair hearing does not arise as no one is on trial. Meanwhile, Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike on Friday said that the prosecution of Rotimi Amechi over an alleged 96 billion naira fraud will depend on leaders of the party of the state. Amechi, a former Rivers State Governor and ex-Minister of Transportation, is running for president on the platform of the All Progressives Congress. Wike had set up a panel to probe Amechi's dealings after he became governor, and the Supreme Court case was an attempt by Amechi to set aside the recommendations of the panel. Wike said Amechi had mismanaged state funds through Sahara Energy and Tony Cole, who won the APC governorship primary on Thursday. You're watching the news update on Trust Television. Coming up shortly. Children in IDP camps hopeful for the future. Details and more shortly. Thanks for staying. You're watching the news update on Trust Television. Here's a reminder of our top stories again. INEC extends deadline for party primaries by 6 days as APC postpones presidential convention to June 6. PDP holds presidential convention in Abuja Saturday as Hayatuddin quits race, cites monetization of the process. And now, President Muhammadu Buhari has called for more concerted and institutionalized efforts to ameliorate the suffering of refugees and internally displaced persons in Africa. The president made the call at the 16th African Union Extraordinary Session of Assembly of Heads of State and Government on Humanitarian Crisis in Africa and Pledging Conference holding in Malabo, Equatorial Guinea. President Buhari, who said only collective and coordinated approach will make a difference, stated that more than 5 million people had been displaced in the Lake Chad region, with 70% of them mostly Nigerians. President Buhari, in a statement from the Senior Special Advisor on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, pledged $3 million for the establishment of an African Union humanitarian agency to cater for the growing needs of displaced persons and refugees.
As you are aware, Mr. Chairperson, the world is confronted by emerging threats such as climate change, resulting in global warming, rising levels of waters, in some climes shrinking rivers like the Lake Chad. All these lead to distortions in our aquatic and consequently ecological systems. Conflicts, violent extremism, and terrorist attacks, including herdsmen and farmers' clashes, and banditry led to the displacement of whole communities, thus rendering thousands of people homeless. Mr. Chairman, of the over 5 million internally displaced persons in the Lake Chad region alone, about 70% are estimated to be from Nigeria. And so, we cannot deny the fact that we have a very dangerous humanitarian crisis in our hands. This development calls for a collective and coordinated response from all of us. Government established internally displaced persons camps in every part of the country for refugees, returnee migrants, and displaced persons, where food, shelter, clothing, and medical care and other livelihood support are provided for all displaced persons. Nigeria will continue to support the agency, and so we pledge the sum of $3 million United States dollars in support of agency. Thank you for your attention.
All right, now, despite the challenges children face in the internally displaced persons camps in Nigeria, children in one of the IDP camps in the FCT are optimistic that there will be a light at the end of the tunnel. Maradia Umar, who visited one of the IDP camps on Children's Day, reports that the children still have a glimmer of hope.
Children's Day celebration is one of the most important days for children in Nigeria. Lack of quality education, discrimination, insecurity, climate change, among other factors, continue to affect the rights of children. In different IDP camps across the country, the challenges are glaring. While some children have lost hope, some still have the light of hope burning dimly. The prayer through the Protection and Domestication of the Child Rights Act in each state in the country will make them safe and have a healthy environment and development. However, some children celebrated their day attending parties. Well, in this internally displaced persons camp, children are oblivious to that. They're just waiting for the next person to bring in gift items for them. But deep inside, these children have dreams, hopes, and aspirations, as behind every face there's a name, and behind each name is a person that has desire.
I want to be a businesswoman because helping people, sharing something for them. On this Children's Day, I want the governor to help us.
I want to be a pilot like Tolulope, the one she died. And the reason why I want to be a pilot, they killed my daddy. That is all why. And I want to say Happy Children's Day. Thank you.
I want to be a doctor because I want to be a doctor.
Boko Haram killed the parents. I want to help out. I give us medicine.
Are there plans to achieve the dreams of the children? This woman resides at the IDP camp and mother to one of these children. She speaks on how she's trying her best to ensure her children achieve their dreams.
One plenty pikin is one person go take the responsibility of all your family. Like now, it's only worry the mother born plenty children. Maybe only him now, he carry all the Nigeria for his hands. So I believe that on those children, we get all those forces that they need by the grace of God.
She appealed for more support for the government in providing affordable and accessible education for the children.
For these children, life around the IDP camp is not so pleasant, but they are hopeful that they will become something great in future. Martia Umar, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Now, the Anambra State Governor, Chukwuma Soludo, says his administration will continue to promote the rights and privileges of Anambra children. Speaking at this year's Children's Day celebration at Dr. Alex Ekweme Square, Awka, Governor Soludo made a clarion call for strengthening of support systems for the child in the best possible way. The governor explained that the event is aimed at reorientating the children and aid their development, emphasizing that if it is done across tribal and religious lines, the child will reach its full potential as the future leader of the Nigerian nation.
Leave them to go to school. It is not their fault that you didn't do yours, you didn't go to school. Leave them to go to school. But I want to assure you, the security agencies and what we are putting in place, I think it won't be long. Well, we'll all be back in school on Mondays. If not this Monday, subsequent Mondays, I am very confident that with the measures we are putting in place, all our children in all schools will be back to school every Monday.
All right, with that, we wrap up the news update, but we will be connecting with our team at the Moshood Abiola Stadium to bring you updates on the ongoing PDP primary elections going on. Thank you.